Welcome back to Incredible Display. This is a deck profile series where we highlight some of the cool decks that were a win away from a top cut record. I'm Constantine, and today I'm joined by Nick Normandy, who played Mega Mutant to a 38th place finish at the Atlanta Regional. And going into these, I always ask, what is it that made you want to play the character you picked, Mega Mutant? Why this guy?
Honestly, whenever I was opening my two cases of TMNT, I pulled the alt art of him, read him, and said, that seems pretty cool. Let me look what he can do.
Yeah.
And sure enough, after putting the deck together, I realized, this deck can just send it.
Yeah, he's really reminiscent of, Giro 1 in terms of stats, right? Just put a bunch of numbers on your moves. And so, leading off into that, I always ask, what's the game plan for the list? How are we winning the game? And I feel like he kind of explains it on the card, but,
Yeah, the character basically does one thing, and that's really simple in how it wants to play. But the game plan is, for a perfect send it turn, is Cute Host Kodo, All Might's Mentorship into your attacks. Because Cute Host and All Might's Mentorship don't count toward progressive. So your first attack being usually Mutant Mashup enters with 3/3.
That's pretty good. And it guarantees you get another one. So
yes.
Okay. And then is that, typically what your turns will look like? Cute Host Kodo or whatever Ally Foundations into a swath of attacks?
Yes. Always Cute Host Kodo if you can play it first, because you have to. But All Might's Mentorship doesn't matter if you play all of them in a turn, because they don't count. And the more you have in your card pool, the better. But Mutant Mashup, usually you'll pick up either Creating a Family, Special Report, or Hate Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Creating a Family just replaces itself and is also another equally as big Mutant Mashup. And your raw stats, you can pretty much punch through any deck.
Yeah. Do you remember the largest amount of stats you were giving with this deck?
The most I gave, during the regional or in testing?
I guess shoot for the moon. What is the largest amount of cards you've had in your pool for this? And one response.
The largest I was giving anything. I remember giving a Hate Fish 7/7 at one point.
All right, that's gaming. That is the type of Universus I want to be playing. Oh yeah. Okay, so just play ally cards and blow their head off as a surefire way to do it.
Yeah. One of my favorite play lines, though, is going Cute Host Kodo, build your hand full of allies, potentially, and then playing Stomp Through Town on a 5. And it enters with 6/6 if they're all allies.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah. Kind of build your own tight end attack just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Nice. And then I always ask, what does the defense look like for these decks? So, how much are you using your face to block? How much are you actually blocking? How are you relying on surviving your opponent's offense?
Because all the offense is on Mega Mutant's face, you can actually just prioritize mostly on defense in your gray. Stuff like defending Pageant Queen, setting speed to 1, always cool for your triple M decks. Moment of Normalcy is just a good card.
Mm-hmm.
And in your sideboard also plays a lot into that.
Gotcha. How many cards are you usually playing on your turns? Are you holding that many to defend with, or?
If you have a Cute Host Kodo in hand, just slam your entire hand. Mm-hmm. If you don't have Cute Host Kodo in hand, usually playing 3 to 4, unless it is a kill turn. Then just play your entire hand.
Yeah. Pull their head off, stick to the game plan.
Yeah. You generally have the health total to not care about most decks, and your block mods are generally pretty good. The only deck that this deck really struggles against is Falling Skies decks. Because you have so little high blocks, but that's where your sideboard comes into play.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to take a bit to ask you about some specific cards that like stood out to me. We already spoke about
Okay.
Kudos, Kodo, and All Might's mentorship. But you know, these ones aren't. These have not been in the meta for some time. Like I wouldn't be surprised for someone to look at this deck and be like, I've never seen that card in my life. But aside from what you already said about them, I also wanted to ask about Special Report, because that one seems really cool in combination with All Might's mentorship.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, so my understanding is that you can hit with Special Report and respond with it and essentially tutor an attack with All Might's mentorship's draw response.
Yes. Yes, usually the game plan is mutant mashup into Hatefish. Normally they're gonna, if they know about the Special Report All Might's mentorship loop, they'll just eat the Hatefish and block the special reports. If they don't know about the combo, they'll block the Hatefish and then die to special reports. Because each special report, you can stack another special report on top and then draw it through All Might's mentorship.
Yeah, so you can just chain a bunch
And then
of
at
moves.
the end of that chain, you can play Stomp Through Town basically for free.
That is pretty sick. And then, was there ever any times where you would use Special Report without All Might's mentorship, and you'd stack something else?
Yes, usually, if your hand is already filled with attacks, you would stack your 6 checks and not respond with All Might's mentorship. Or if you don't have it, then just stack 6 checks.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever find yourself putting something from your opponent's graveyard on top of their deck, or no, never?
I've personally never had to do it, just because you give so much stats. There's no reason to put a 3 check on top of their deck.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And plus, with I Perfected the Ooze, you're giving -1 to their checks if they don't block or fail to block, so there's no real reason to stack their deck.
Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to ask if you considered any other ally attacks that aren't present here. Like, there's an evil one that's a 5 diff with stun 2. And there's also the 4 diff K9 tracker from My Hero. Were those ever considerations?
I was looking at that. The main one that used to be in the list, but when I was cutting the deck down to get to as close to 60 cards as I could, was Martial Art Moves. It's a 3 diff, 1 high block, 3 high for 3. Basically, high version of Special Report. Only has no abilities. So,
I see. Okay.
but it was another 3 diff that you can play at the end of the string. That's usually a 9 for 9.
Mm-hmm. Just like an easy move to play.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was most of like my focused questions, because yeah, those are just most of my focused questions on specific cards. Is there any other cards you want to mention as being particularly impactful in the main deck?
In the main deck, one really nice thing that you can do as well with the All Might's mentorship into Special Report combo is if you're out of cards in hand and you have a final test in play, if you've responded with All Might's mentorship previous in that turn, you can just form to draw the card that you need if you don't have any more attacks in hand or cards in hand to pitch from it. I did that once, I believe. And that actually won me the game there.
That's pretty sick. Would you play more final tests instead of settling old debts because of that, or?
Honestly, for started the Tomer's Protector, that was a last minute inclusion, that's going to get cut. In honesty, it just never did anything.
Mm-hmm.
But and also Togoro's dominance didn't do anything in that event. So I'll probably go up on settling old debts and maybe another final test until Guilty Gear. That is.
Mm-hmm. Is there some specific stuff from Guilty Gear that you already know you want to put in, or?
Yes, there is a ultra rare foundation, tricky spinner, 3 diff, 2 low block with a 5 check, enhance, sacrifice, choose one. If you've added 2 or more cards to your momentum, choose both. That will never happen, just because all does not have momentum gain. Either add 1 card from your hand to your card pool face up, add 1 card from your card pool to your hand, or draw a card, add 1 card from your hand to the top of your deck. It basically is Foundation version of Airship, but only you can stuff another cute host Kodo into your card pool and pick up another attack.
That's
is one way to look at it.
Yeah, like pick up Mutant Mashup as well if you just want to play it on a 6 again.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And also the draw card and then stack a 6 check on top of your deck is also pretty handy.
Oh, that's so cool. I was like, what card are you talking about from Guilty Gear? Because I'm like, there's no evil cards in there, and the ally characters aren't on its symbols. I completely forgot about the reveal. That's so cool. But so, sort of shifting away from the main deck, I want to start asking people some new questions about more gameplay decisions. So I wanted to ask you about what were your mulligan decisions with this deck? Were you looking for as many foundations as possible in your opening hands, or were there specific foundations you were trying to find?
Into decks that have damage reduction, you'll always want to find at least 1 I've Perfected the Ooze, because that will actually just win you the matchup right there. But generally, you don't want All Might's mentorships in your opening hands. But aside from that, just as many foundations as you can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mentorship kind of seems like an action in this deck, despite being a foundation.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, and then logical next step after talking about main deck and mulliganing, I was going to ask you about your sideboard decisions, and if you could walk me through why you chose the 10 cards in your sideboard.
The chucking cars just deals with cape and overturns and just other problematic assets.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you hit a triple M plus 7 damage catch on top of it being an ally.
Yeah.
There are certain play lines where if you have your own military airship and you go chucking cars, airship the previous one into chucking cars again, you can then blow up your airship and draw a card. That is one of the play lines. Haven't been able to do it yet, but chucking cars is generally high enough stats to where you can just get through anything.
Mm-hmm. And what would you
not now? Oh, my bad.
I was just gonna ask, what would you tend to side out for it?
The chucking cars, you would side out 2 mutant mashups usually, because mutant mashup can't pick up a chucking cars. Because mutant mashup only adds 4 diff or less.
Okay, so keep that consistency with mashup where you're not bricking on the blitz.
Yes,
that makes sense. And
the not now I'm gaming. Usually, you would run it into your Godzillas, your Dekus, or decks that want to string late into the game or late into the card pool.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're running so many 6 checks, you're generally going to either tap 1 half the time. So that's also just really nice.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool advantage to that in this deck. Because usually it's checking against an 8 with the commit, but That's not so bad if you check the 6.
Yeah.
And would you side out like Tomura's Protector as a card for Not Now I'm Gaming, or?
Generally, it would depend on the matchup, but yeah, usually I would side out Tomura's.
Gotcha. And then Clumsy.
The Eerie Smiles.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to go to Clumsy Entrance just because it's next on the list I'm looking at, but you're good.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good.
I think I did enter it on that side as a like attack, foundation, action, and then asset.
Oh, yeah.
But Clumsy Entrance helps against. The idea was for against Titan Cliffs primarily. Yeah, they get to either choose to discard 3, draw 3, or build one, and then tell them to pick it up. It also helps against, well, not necessarily help, but you can tell Deku to pick up that Hang 10, and hopefully they just don't smash your face in again.
Yeah, you get to avoid the damage from it, right?
Yes. And also against, what's it called? Teaming with the Attack Titan. You tell them to pick that up, and hopefully they don't have another attack in hand.
Yeah, or it like makes it awkward for them because it's progressive difficulty, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then similarly, you'd side out. It depends, but I'm assuming it'd be Tomura's Protector or maybe like Toguro's Dominance.
Yes.
Nice.
The Eerie Smiles, just good card against Falling Skies.
Mm-hmm.
And into certain matchups like Devil Jin, for example, where, yeah, you can half block the teaming and they're having to play something else on massive amount of progressive and then try to play another attack.
Mm-hmm. With Airy Smiles being an action, would you be setting out Kudos Kodos for it or cutting into your foundations?
Usually I would cut into the foundations. Because Airy Smiles on your Ascended turn, you can always just pitch it to All Might's Mentorship. Because usually you have unless you check rolling 3s, you're gonna kill somebody.
Yeah.
Health totals are kind of irrelevant.
Yeah. Scaling stats are a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah.
And the final one in the sideboard, Top Pro Heroes.
It was for primarily like Hanj matchups, because you could remove Titan off of like Titan Pile, for example. And if there's any shift attacks that you're scared of, you can remove shift off of them.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, they don't you get to dodge the value from it without having to interact with them.
Yeah, and it's also an ally, so, and a high block, which is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming same thing with it. You'd cut some of the foundations for it.
Yes.
All right. Do you have any final thoughts about Mega Mutant after the event, after the games you've played with him?
After the event, I realized, so during round 6 through 8th, I stopped sideboarding because I just didn't feel like doing it anymore. And I came to the conclusion that the deck really doesn't need a sideboard.
Mm-hmm.
They can still just do its job. And furthermore, while testing this deck at locals, I will say that it is just a local pub stomper. However, I do believe it is one card away from actually being like in the meta kind of thing.
Yeah, there's not.
It's on that fine line of too good for locals, not good enough for the pro scene.
Mm-hmm. I get it. There's really not that many options yet for his card pool for ally cards.
Not at all.
So hopefully we'll see more of this guy as we get more reveals with Guilty Gear and what comes next year.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But kind of wrapping up here, I always ask if there's any shout outs you want to give.
Not that I have any thought of, in honesty.
Okay. I always like to give a shout out to Metaversus, which is the UVS Ultra account that has all these decks on it. It's
yes.
Yeah, it's so great for looking at all the cool decks people bring to regionals, seeing their matchup spreads, and just seeing like how close some of these decks are to making top cuts. And you can even find it at the very top of UVS Ultra, right next to tournament decks. But yeah, it's super great. For everyone watching, make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Nick, thank you so much for coming on and talking about your cool Mega Mutant deck with me.
Not a problem.
Yeah, that's everything. Bye-bye.